What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Everything woke turns to shit.
All right, welcome in. So it's Radio Baloney Live. I am your host, Radio Baloney. Radio Baloney, that's the show. I am your host, Richie Baloney, from the foot of Mount Belzoni. And if you get that reference, put it in the chat and you shall get some applause, my friend. All right, everybody. Oh, we got Hot Retarded Chicks in the chat already. Good to see you, sir. All right, what are we talking about? Well, first off, I should just say that, yeah, we're adding an extra day of live streams to the week. So we started out Friday nights, then we went to Sunday nights as well. And now we're also adding on Tuesday nights as well. We'll see how it goes. If it goes well, we'll just keep going. Give me 1 second. I just want to check something. All right. Okay, we're all good. Okay. Yeah, so we're adding on Tuesday nights as well, 6 o'clock Pacific time. So 3 nights a week. We'll see how it goes. If it goes as well as the other 2 nights, then we'll do, I don't know, maybe Wednesday or Thursday as well. We'll try and do 4 a week. And I don't know, maybe we'll just do it every night forever. That could be a thing too. We'll have to see. But what are we going to talk about? Well, there's so much to talk about. As always these days, I mean, it's just basically constant. This is a good thing for the live streams. There's so much going on. It turns out that Joe Biden is in fact alive. So it was a bloodless coup. A coup, but a bloodless coup. And I'm glad for that. Joe's alive. He doesn't seem great, let's be honest, but he hasn't seemed great for a long time. But they trotted him out. I don't know if he's going to make any public statements, if they're going to stick him in front of a teleprompter at any point. Maybe, I guess they just wanted to show that he still exists. But there he is. So I guess that can put the whole he's not alive and all of that to rest. Although there's some weird stuff, though, really, isn't there? I mean, where is that press? Wherever I've got it in here somewhere. I've got that call that Biden got, that call that he made in to Kamala Harris. Where is that? Let's see. Not that one. Was it in here? Hold on. Give me a second, you guys. I'm not organized. Doing too many live streams. This one here, where it sounds like she says recording, like she's recording. She didn't know he was still on the recording. Let's take a look quickly.
Our president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call. Our president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call.
Sounds like she's about to say recording, doesn't it? And again, I mean, I don't think we've really heard Joe speak properly yet. I've got that whole thing. We'll get to that. But we're going to talk, obviously, this is part of the story. This is one thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the margin. There's some polls starting to come out regarding the Harris-Trump matchup. And it's kind of, to be honest, like I thought it was going to be. At first I thought after the assassination attempt that Trump was just going to walk away with it. But, then start to realize, I mean, they could literally run anything on the Democrat side. And the basement for votes is going to be, probably 45%? Like if you do the worst possible job, if you're the worst possible candidate, it's still like 45%. Just because people are just set in their ways and they just know who they're going to vote for and they just don't really care. It's just, no, I'll vote. It could be a rotting manatee. And it's still going to get 46 minimum, 46% of the vote. So we shall talk about things like this. She's getting huge sums of money. We're going to go through some of our favorite clips of Kamala Harris because they're hilarious. Of course, the Democrats are saying crazy things like Kamala Harris earned the nomination from the grassroots up and not the top down. I don't know in what universe that makes any sense. We will talk about Trump stuff and, of course, about the assassination attempt. and the shooter. And of course, we will go through all the stuff that I've just curated during the week that's just all kind of randomly jammed up on X in my X bookmark. Lots of fun, different things. I mean, look, there's like a clumsy lion. You're not going to catch that on any other live streams. We've got a hilarious thing from Ricky Gervais here. I know you guys like to laugh. So do I. Elon Musk sharing some pretty serious stuff, I got to say. It's definitely worth seeing it. We're getting some real insight into his motivations for the things that he's done in terms of buying X, formerly Twitter, moving his companies out of California. It's interesting stuff. I would stick around for it. Normally, I don't like female comedians. I think most of them aren't funny. Here's one who actually is on the Kill Tony show. So we'll check that out. Just lots of random stuff. We get to see a Houthi drone, unmanned drone, get blown out of the water. That's fun. Some excitement for you. Nigel Farage, we've got so much stuff. First, before we get into all of that, I try to do, if I can, I try to do something culture related, a movie, recommend a movie or something, or talk about some show. One thing I noticed was I'm a big fan of the show House of the Dragon. Big fan of it. I think it's a great show. It's well written. It's well acted, well produced. It looks fantastic. Everything is good about it. Does have a little bit of woke. There's been a little bit of woke, like the race swapping, for instance, which makes absolutely no sense, especially with the whole kind of genealogy of the thing. It makes no damn sense. But because the actors are all great and it's well written and well produced, the whole thing looks great. It transcends that, and I still like the show. So I'm not going to just write off something because there's something that's a little bit that I don't like. Now, in the latest episode, there's a lesbian kiss with who I consider to be the central actress of the whole thing. And I've seen a little bit. No, there's not like giant outrage about this, but there's a little bit of a kind of sense of the whispers that I'm hearing. A few little things is that it's kind of one of those make it lame and gay things. And I get it, because it does kind of come totally out of left field, this thing. It feels like they just kind of thought, well, now it's time to add some representation, So I get controversy is too strong of a word, but yeah, there is a scene in this latest House of the Dragon episode with some, I would say it kind of comes out of left field. Some out of left field girl on girl action with who I think is the central figure of the show, at least so far. And yeah, I'll say it did feel a little bit overly contrived, as if they just felt like an obligation to just insert some representation for woke reasons. It's just time to insert that now. Yeah, I wasn't offended by it. I love the show. The show is fantastic. I'll keep watching the show. And it did feel a little bit like that. I've heard a few things said like that. Now, that said, two attractive women doing adult things together, like kissing, for instance, that's always been my favorite kind of gay. By far. Ever since, I was a young lad and I found that Penthouse magazine in the woods. It's always been my favorite kind of gay. I've been fine with it ever since, to be honest. Two attractive women kissing. I'm not offended by it. I will even say it moved me. The scene in question brought about a kind of yearning in me. Remembering of something I've never really possessed, but had lost regardless. Something that just floats somewhere in the mists of history. And I'm obviously not saying that I wish I was a woman so that I could have been a lesbian. No. No, I'm old school. I am, of course, talking about just simple threesomes with two chicks where they do stuff together. And don't get me wrong, I've filled my boots in this life, but it's that one blessing that has escaped me. Lo, these many, many years. I don't have many regrets, but it's the one. And it hurts me because God knows I've been close. Once I was so close, I thought it was just a foregone conclusion. I thought I was there. I thought this was like fate. It was right there in my grasp. I was in like Flynn. This was my moment. This was the culmination of my entire life's work. And then just at the moment of transcendent, my girlfriend shut that shit down. She shut it down hard. She shut it down hard, just took it away from me. The bitch never did support me, I gotta say. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest of the show where the story takes House of the Dragon. It's a great show. It's a great show. I just wonder why take me so close to the promised land just to take it away like that. Take it away so fast. Be better to have never been in that position in the first place. Women can be cruel. Maybe that's the moral of the House of the Dragon story. I don't know. All I know is pretty good show, and I was fine with it. All right. Now that I've gotten that off my chest. My life's greatest disappointment. By the way, is the sound, everything's working okay out there? Is everybody doing good? Hope everybody's having a great week, by the way. Let's see. So, yes, where were we? Biden is alive. So, Rumbum says, good on my end. Great. Thank you, sir. And great to see you in the chat yet again. So, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of speculation. Is Biden even alive? A lot of people were saying that they thought he was dead. There'd been some serious medical thing. I'm sure there's been lots of serious medical things, but he might be dead already. And no, he's alive. But it all still is very weird, isn't it? You know, I say it looks like a Rumbum says you're a streaming machine, mate. Well, I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. But I say a bloodless coup, because that's still what it looks like. I mean, he just disappears. You know, it's a couple of days after the Trump shooting, and he just disappears. No, he puts out this statement. Why couldn't he have done a video? Why couldn't he have sat him in front of a teleprompter? He does the weird call-in with Kamala. I mean, let's take a look at that. Let's find that, because it was quite strange. It's in here somewhere. No, it's not there. Is it in here? I need to get more organized. You know, I like prepared for this for like 4 hours before the show. This was the super short version there. Let's find the actual longer version. Not in there, apparently. All right. That's fine. That's fine. We can find it still. It's probably in here. I did put it aside. I'm certain of it. Unless I didn't. Unless I need to refresh something. Hold on. Okay, whatever. I'll add it in when I clip this later. So you had the weird call into Kamala where she says you're on the rec. She sounds like she's about to say recording, doesn't it? It's all weird. Why was he hidden away like that? Did they have him like locked in a room somewhere just saying, do it, Joe, do it? What I'm hearing is that Pelosi gave him an ultimatum after the debate. So, and it looks very much, I mean, if you're at all conspiratorial minded like I am, conspiratorially minded, Like, they set up that debate early for a reason. Because, of course, nobody believes that they were surprised after the debate. It's like, oh, what happened overnight? It turns out that Joe Biden's brains are scrambled. Nobody thinks that. They knew all along. Of course they knew. So they set up the debate early. They know he's going to fail badly, right? And then Pelosi, apparently, what I'm hearing is Pelosi said, you got 3 weeks to do it the easy way, or then we do it the hard way. And what's the hard way? We got to 25th them. 25th Amendment. Get them out the hard way. The most humiliating way possible. So it sounds like, I mean, I get why couldn't he have just done, I mean, he had COVID. COVID isn't that bad anymore. Look, he's fine. He wasn't on his deathbed 2 days ago. I mean, it's as fine as he can be at this point. So why not just get him to do a video call? Why all this? It just seems weird. It just seems really strange. Rumbum says, I'm not 100% convinced it's actually him. The level of shady things the Dems have been pulling leaves me questioning everything more than usual. Well, I've seen some weird stuff with the masks people they can make these days. It's pretty strange. But I feel like it's him. But it seems to me like, again, like a bloodless coup. It sounds to me like they just like got him. They locked him in a room and said, you're doing it. You are doing it. This is happening now. Do it. Do it, Joe. Let's see. Rumbum says, if you haven't yet, you should check out Awaken with JP's new vid about Kamala. It's hilarious and terrifying at the same time. I haven't seen it. I do like Awaken with JP, although I actually haven't watched this stuff for a little while. So I'll check that out. I'll try to remember to check that out. But anyway, mystery solved. There he is. I mean, maybe it's not really him. Maybe. I mean, I'm not going to say, again, everything is so crazy now. It's almost, you'd be crazy to not give anything a chance of being real, a possibility. Everything is so bananas at this point. But I think it's probably him. They've just had him locked away in a room. He got some sniffles with COVID. They locked him in and said, you're doing this. You are doing this. We are way bigger than you. This is happening. And if you want to do it the hard way, we'll do it the hard way. Rumbum says, I think you may be right. I don't think even Gary Oldman, great actor, could do Biden's dazed and confused Rumba bit. That's true. So probably the real Joe. Yeah. Yeah, they gave him they said, look, drop out of the race and you can keep being president for as long as, you're functional, I guess. Because he was never doing anything in the first place. It was the team doing it. I think they're going to hide him away now. And then the whole kind of is he dead or not thing can start all over again. Let's see. Brain Biscuit says, Gary not old enough, man. I don't understand that. You're going to have to explain that to me. Let's see. So what else we got here? Well, maybe let's stay with the Biden stuff for a second. Colin Rugg, Biden was blackmailed into dropping out of the race after top Democrats threatened to remove him from office with the 25th Amendment, according to the New York Post. It's becoming clear that the coup was a well-orchestrated plan by Democrats. Yeah, I'm saying bloodless coup is what I'm saying. Oh, I see. Brain, not old enough to convincingly impersonate Biden. I made for a Brain Biscuit. Yeah, I think it would be hard. I think you'd have to have the greatest actor in the world to seem that, I don't know, that's scrambled. Let's see. I'm not sure there's an actor good enough to pull it off. But it's becoming clear that the coup, again, I say bloodless coup, was a well-orchestrated plan by the Democrats. Biden's June debate appeared to be a setup so Democrats could forcibly remove Biden in time to get a new candidate. According to Politico, Nancy Pelosi threatened Biden if he refused to drop out of the race. It seems so awful that Nancy Pelosi has all of this power, doesn't it? Like, she seems like, to me, she seems like the person who should be least trusted with the power that she wields. You know, she's not even the speaker anymore, but she rules the Democrat Party, I guess, or at least she's the spokesperson for the hammer for the people who run the Democratic Party. Let's see. A source told Politico, quote, Nancy made clear that they could do this the easy way or the hard way. She gave them 3 weeks of the easy way. It was about to be the hard way. Hard way appears to be in the 25th Amendment. Or maybe they just give them some special ice cream and, you know, that's it. We got Travis Eves in the chat. Good to see you, sir. He says, have a good Trugina live, everyone. Yeah, I mean, that's my name for Trudeau, Trugina. And I'm asking people to drop some Truginas in the chat whenever they want. Just throw it in there whenever you want. You'll always get some claps for that. Biden's own staff didn't even know he was dropping out until they read his letter on X, which was digitally signed. Why all of this? Just seems strange. Just stick him a camera in front of him and he can say it in his own words that somebody wrote for him. Unless he couldn't. But I mean, if he was that debilitated, he wouldn't be out walking around. He wouldn't be on his way back to the White House again. So it's strange, isn't it? But did this plan go back even further? In 2020, Pelosi unveiled legislation that would allow Congress to intervene under the 25th Amendment to remove the president. I remember people talking about it back then, that, you know, in case they had to get rid of Biden and then replace him with somebody else. She assured the public at the time that the legislation was not for Trump. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, here's the thing. I mean, they created this fiction, right? For which they seemed totally surprised when it fell down. Like the media, all the Democrat politicians. They created this fiction that somehow Joe was sharp as a tack. Remember Joe Scarborough? Just like a couple of months before the debate, he's the best version of Joe ever. Sharp as a tack. He swore up and down. But we were saying back in 2020, this is during the primaries, before he was actually the candidate. We were saying, no, this guy's brain scrambled. He's got dementia. I was putting Dementia Joe in the tags on my videos back in 2020. We all knew it. So of course they knew it. Yes, they pretended to be surprised after the debate, but nobody could be surprised. At least the people who actually were around, who could be around. I mean, if you're just watching CNN or MSNBC, they're not showing you any of the stuff. They're showing you only like the prime clips of, virile, masculine, in command, Commander-in-Chief Joe Biden. Even those clips, even the very best clips of them, should have been enough clue for people to go, something's not quite right there. But they didn't see the stuff that we saw, right? We see all of the clips. But if you're watching CNN or MSNBC, you didn't see that. But Nancy Pelosi knew. Everybody behind the scenes knew. And they had to have known. They had to have known even back then that there was a good chance this guy was not getting through his term. Proof of life for Joe Biden. There he is. Biden makes his first appearance since Team Kamala stole his power while he was sick with COVID. He looks horrible. Let's see. Oh, we've got no volume on this one. I don't know. Maybe it's a mask. Maybe it's a mask.
You dropped out of the race, sir.
How are you feeling about Harris's campaign?
Can Harris beat Trump?
Can Harris beat Trump, Mr. President?
That actually might be the best performance of him versus a flight of stairs that I've actually seen in the last like 4 years. Maybe that's not him. That looked remarkably less treacherous than it normally is for him. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he got on the plane and took the mask off. But anyway, there's our proof of life of Joe Biden. So he is around. The question is now, is that how long will he last? Will he actually be able to serve out his term? That seems impossible. It seems pretty clear. Aside from him, his brief semi-mastery of a flight of stairs there, you know, I think these conditions tend to accelerate rapidly. You know, they kind of go slow, 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 and then they go real fast. And he's on that real fast part of it right now. So I really would not be surprised if, in fact, my expectation is that Kamala becomes president. Maybe they think that'll help her. It'll make her like an instant incumbent, right? Maybe they think that'll help her in the election. I don't know. Let's see. Rumbum says Skeletor got a Skeletor. Scheming is basically what keeps her alive. Talking about Pelosi. Well, that and the harvested adrenochrome in her alcohol. Adrenochrome in her alcohol. Yes, I think I agree with that. Nancy Pelosi looks to me like some derelict android robot of some kind. Like I keep expecting like her jaw to drop off or like one of her eyes to like shoot across the room and like a spring to come out or something. It's amazing that she's still there. She's still wielding power. I mean, if she's the one who went in and said, you know, gave him the ultimatum, we're going to 25th you. You do the easy way or the hard way. You already tried the easy way. Quit now or it's the hard way. When was this? This is the 22nd. So this was yesterday. This is before they trotted him out so everybody could see he was still alive. Biden cancels 9 trips, extends Delaware stay after dropping out of 2024 race. So this was the last time he was seen previously. It looks like he's having more trouble there, but maybe it's harder to go down the stairs than to go up. And yeah, I mean, this is all people are speculating, of course. 5 days ago, nobody knows where he is, what he's doing, if he's okay, or who is running the country at the moment. Then you just get this written statement out. No video, no nothing. It just seems awful. It seemed awful weird. Again, that's why I think they had him locked in a room. And with Nancy Pelosi screaming at him. No ice cream for you, Joe. Now look at this. This is AOC. Now, I've also got a video, I think, coming up of her really going after the now resigned Secret Service director at Cheadle. So this is interesting. Let's take a quick peek.
And I'm going to say what a lot of these folks aren't saying. I'm just going to say it. If you think that there is consensus among the people who want Joe Biden to leave, that they will support Kamala, Vice President Harris, you would be mistaken. And I'm going to say that because if they're going to come out and say all their little things on background off the record, but they're not going to be fully honest, I'm going to be honest for them. I'm in these rooms. I see what they say in conversations. A lot of them are not just interested in removing the president. They are interested in removing the whole ticket.
Your reaction, Jack Posobiec.
Wow, Charlie, it's amazing because I was just thinking about that live stream as Tyler was talking, and there was a lot, as I guess she would say, there's a lot of tea that was spilled on that live stream. And so AOC and those clips, by the way, have just become one of President Trump and JD Vance's best gifts for the next couple of months and really just a few weeks going forward here, because we're just about halfway through the summer.
Well, it speaks to the kind of Byzantine plotting and, palace coup and palace intrigues going on behind the scenes. It all looks very ugly, doesn't it? Very ugly indeed. It's the sort of thing that, the Trump campaign should be using, amongst many, many other things, of course. Oh, here it is. Hold on one second. Let's see. Brain Biscuit says John Carpenter's Pelosi. Terrifying. I wouldn't watch that movie alone. Rumbum says she reminds me so much of Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove. I don't believe I saw that one. All right, let's listen to this call.
Let's listen into President Biden calling into this campaign event.
Keep me out of people's hair for the next 3 or 4 days, but I'm going to be on the road and I'm not going anywhere. It's kept me away a little bit, but I want people to remember that what we have done has been incredible, and we get so much more we're going to get done. And so I want to say hello to Kamala if she can hear me. I know she's going to be speaking shortly, and I want to say to the team, embrace her. She's the best. I want to call today to thank everybody in this effort. I know yesterday's news is surprising and it's hard for you to hear, but it was the right thing to do. I know it's hard because you poured your heart and soul into me to help us win this thing. Help me get this nomination. Help me win the nomination.
I think people were thinking this was a recorded thing. Do we get Kamala to come out? Hold on. Where is she? Not in this one. People will think it was kind of like a recorded call or something. I don't know. Why not? I mean, they obviously can get him on a video thing. The phone call thing. Yeah, I mean, it all added to the speculation, didn't it? Let's see what Tucker has to say.
One of the, I'm not that surprised that the Democratic Party, which did not want Joe Biden in the first place, they wanted Pete Buttigieg.
That's right.
And they put Biden in. They knew he was senile. I knew he was senile because his sister told a friend of mine that. So if I knew as a right-wing talk show host, then trust me, every big done. Jeffrey Katzenberg.
We all knew. Everybody knew. Everybody who was willing to listen to their own ears and pay attention to their own eyes knew.
No, I mean, come on, let's stop lying.
The Germans did this with Hindenburg in 1933.
Exactly. That's exactly
like this is the one guy who's kind of palatable, but we can control him,
exactly.
Et cetera, et cetera.
So he was always late stage Woodrow Wilson. They knew that.
Yes.
All the surprise.
They liked that.
Bullshit.
Tucker,
of course they
Tucker.
did.
Joe Biden is not being pulled from the presidency because he has dementia. He's being pulled because the American people found out.
Well, of course.
They
right.
liked
and
the
he
dementia.
can no longer win. Right. So I'm not that surprised by what they're doing, and they're discarding him like a used condom. And I almost feel sorry for him, but he's such a nasty, evil person that it's hard to feel sorry. But whatever, I'm not shocked.
Nikki Haley was nicer, or Kristi Noem was nicer to her dog than they are being to Joe Biden
true.
right now.
But those.
Yeah, what was with that? With her bragging about shooting the puppy? That's bad politics right there. But yeah, I mean, everything in here is true, obviously. Everybody knew, right? They're not kicking him out because you see now. They're kicking him out because people found out. But I believe, and this is why they had the debate so early, is that they wanted everybody to find out. Joe didn't want to go. They knew there were going to be problems. He was deteriorating fast. They thought, we can't take the chance. We got to get him out. This was a way to do it. Humiliate him publicly. Obviously. All right. Yeah. So there was so much speculation here from Viva Fry from 21 hours ago. Joe Biden has not been seen alive since July 17th, barely a few days after the Trump assassination attempt. He withdraws from the presidential race by way of tweet. So yeah, it was weird. The whole thing is weird. There's nothing that's not weird these days. That's the thing. Everything is weird. The assassination, everything that's going on with the Secret Service, the assassination attempt, I should say. It's all super weird. Everything. I mean, we've seen lies like we've never seen before. You know, sloped roof. If there's ever been a more transparent lie, I don't know what. I mean, maybe they could have said they got confused. They thought it was Christmas Eve. They thought that Santa might want to land on that slightly sloped roof, and they were all looking forward to their presents, so they didn't want to screw it up. That's about as believable as sloped roof. Almost like they're trying to rub your face in the fact they're lying. Weirdest thing in the world. Anyway, let's keep going. Margin of error race between Harris, Trump, and new poll conducted after Biden dropped. 87% of Americans thought Biden's decision to drop out of the 2024 presidential race was the right thing to do. Yeah. But a lot of those people, there's some large portion of the 87%. I've been watching CNN and MSNBC, and they actually had no idea until the debate because they just were never shown it. Let's see. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are locked in an extremely close contest, according to a new national poll conducted entirely after President Biden announced he was suspending his campaign and endorsing his vice president. Trump, who was formally nominated last week at the Republican National Convention as the GOP's presidential nominee, stands at 46% support among registered voters in the NPR PBS News Marist poll released on Tuesday. Harris, who on Monday night announced she'd locked up her party's nomination by landing commitments of backing from a majority of nearly 4,000 delegates to next month's Democratic National Convention, stood at 45%. So she is obviously she's expected to be, she's the presumptive nominee at this point. She's got enough of the delegates. It's not official yet, but I think at this point they're going pretty hard on this. I think it's pretty clear. They decided it's going to be her. They're going to be able to trick the population into forgetting everything they know about her, or probably counting on a lot of them not knowing anything about her. I can guarantee you some large percentage of voters have absolutely no, even talking on both sides, have no idea who she is. They maybe know the name, but really don't know anything about her. Again, I mean, you could put up just like a canned ham, like the basement would be like 45% of the vote, just because of fashion and the way people have always voted, and then just constant media propaganda. That'd say that the ham has a great team. I mean, it's an unprecedented team behind the ham. Going to do a great job. It's not about the ham so much. It's about the team, is what they'll say. And people go, well, that makes perfect sense. I'll vote for the ham. Oh, we got Radio Streamer in the chat. Good to see you. Streamer saying, I can't keep up with the streams anymore. More baloney that I can consume. A good problem to have. This is great. Well, thank you, sir. Yeah, we're going to try out Fridays, Sundays, and Tuesdays for a while. Friday, 7:30 Pacific time. Sunday, 6 Pacific time. Tuesday, 6 o'clock. We'll see how it goes. If we have a good time tonight, we'll just keep doing it. So we've got here, so that's within the margin of error in this poll, this NPR PBS News Morris poll, 46 to 45 for Trump. I've seen there's another one that's come out that's got her at 2%, still within the margin of error. Really, I think it's going to take a couple of weeks. I think it's going to take a couple of weeks to start to get a clearer idea, and then the debates will make a difference as well. And I anticipate Trump to do very well against Kamala in the debates, but we'll have to see. Things are really up in the air right now. It's still kind of fog of war happening right now. But again, as I say, the swing vote is not that much. The independents, it's not that much. The vast majority have already made up their minds before anything's happened. Before you even have candidates, right? 45% of Democrats are going to vote for the canned ham no matter what. Let's see. Independent surveyed backed Trump 46 to 32% over Harris, with 1 in 5 undecided. In a multi-candidate field, the poll indicated Harris and Trump deadlocked at 42%, with Democrat turned independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. at 7% and Green Party candidate Jill Stein and independent Cornel West at 1%. So I guess the communists, the actual full-on communists, have 1%. Although I'm sure there are a bunch of communists that are going to vote for the Democrats. Because, they're a lot closer to what they want than the Republicans, that's for sure. But again, this is, there's a lot of noise right now, I think, and it's going to start to clarify in a little bit. Not quite yet. We'll have to see. I mean, once we don't know how much people are going to. The question is, how well will they be able to brainwash the public into liking this dingbat? My dad was telling me he was playing golf yesterday with a guy who's actually a very wealthy guy. Apparently, loves Kamala Harris now. Brilliant. She's so smart. She's so clever. I'm thinking, Jesus, it's only been like 48 hours of propaganda. And it works. That's how quick it works. I think it's like the CNNs, the MSNBCs, the New York Times. They've really it's just a Pavlovian response at this point, right? They click their fingers, they ring the bell, and they drool. So it really doesn't take very long. It's just an automatic thing. The person on Anderson Cooper says that Kamala Harris is brilliant, and they go, yep. They start drooling. Yep, brilliant. It really takes no effort at all. They've got them so well conditioned at this point. All right. You know what I'm going to do? Quick ad read. Let's do the Rumble Store. Rumble Store is great. Are you people ready? Because Rumble's exclusive apparel has finally arrived. They are now offering 20% off all purchases in the Rumble Store with the discount code DROP20. That's easy to remember. DROP20. If you want to support the brand that is fighting for free speech and fighting for our First Amendment, this is the best way to do it. They've got tees, they've got sweaters, they've got hats, and plus much, much more. Go to rumble.store. That's rumble.store and make certain to enter DROP20 as a promo code to get 20% off your entire order. Now, when you go to rumble.store, be certain to remember, and it's not that hard, DROP20. Maybe you want to write it down. DROP20, that's the promo code to get 20% off your entire order. You were going to go there anyway, so now you get 20% off. Don't forget to support the people that are supporting free speech. That means they're supporting you. All right, thanks, guys. Let's see. Now we've got this. You know what? Actually, first, I want to get into some of these Kamala videos. Let's go through some of her greatest hits here. I love this one.
We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
I haven't been to Europe. I don't understand the point that you're making. We've been to the border. So
point's not that hard to understand. You haven't been to the border. You're supposed to be the border czar. You haven't gone there. It's not that hard. It's really not that. Let's watch that again. This is a classic.
We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
I haven't been to Europe. I don't understand the point that you're making.
Can you imagine her in a debate with Trump? Good Lord. Good Lord. But this is something, the border, you're supposed to be the border. This is something they need to hang on her. This needs to be in commercials and lots of ads, attack ads. They need to make her the face of the border crisis. They need to do that. That will be extremely effective. Say she's the one. Show this clip of her saying, "Well, I haven't been to Europe." They need to do that. That is just it's so perfect. It's so perfect. I mean, that has got to be in the top, I don't know, 2 issues in the election. You got economy and then the border. Top 3 anyway. I mean, it's a big deal. They really have to do this. They have to glue her to that issue. The mass illegal immigration, all under her watch. They need to do it. They need to show this. They need to show this. Well, you haven't been to the border. Well, I haven't been to Europe. Jesus. Come on. It's a massive opportunity. I mean, they've got a lot of material on Kamala Harris to work with. Well, here we go. It looks like great minds think alike. We've got Rumbum saying, if she is the nominee, then once everyone starts digging into her uselessness, I see those poll numbers drop more and more. She was basically hidden away in the cellar, and now she'll be front and center. And how will she do with that? I mean, the media is they're already doing it. They're already praising her. I've got one video it's just unbelievable, like North Korea quality propaganda already out for her. They're starting. I mean, they're so shameless. You expect them to be shameless, of course. Let's see. Streamer says, do well. You're talking about the debates. If the debate rules are even half fair, it should be like LeBron James playing basketball against a toddler. Only the toddler hasn't already had sex with half the basketball team and a mayor. Oh, man. We got JDL37 in the chat. Good to see ya. Let's see. Oh, he's saying hit the like button. That's good advice. Let's see. Let's see. You made it just in time for the first epic ad read. Rumbum streamer says, LOL, epic ad read. We are not shills. One of us. One of us. You guys aren't shills. I'm the shill. I'm the shill for free speech. I'm the shill for your rights. I'm a shill. But I do it so you don't have to. Let's see. Rumbum says she had one job and it was so easy to solve. All she had to do was have her cackling over loudspeakers on the wall. No one is going to be coming close to that. Yeah, they could have just set up a bunch of speakers all along the border and just had her cackling. They could have just recorded it. Would have terrified them. terrified those people going into the country illegally. Let's see. So anyway, yeah, they're going to have a ton of material on her. How about this? And, you know, again, the party of democracy that's going to save democracy kind of feels like they had a little not very democratic bloodless coup there.
Just over 100 days before an election, Democrat Party bosses forced Joe Biden off the ballot. They invalidated the votes of more than 14 million Americans who went through the small d democratic process and chose their nominee for president. The self-proclaimed party of democracy can't claim to be that anymore because they just steamrolled democracy and made a decision in a back room. And one thing is clear, if Joe Biden is not fit to run for president, he is not fit to run the country. We're stating the obvious. We're stating what everybody is seeing with their own eyes. And it's a hard truth, but it's one that the country has to face. Right now, we're facing altogether increased threats around the globe because of this weakness. We're facing threats right here at home, and we're sending the world a dangerous message. America needs strong, resolute leadership at this perilous moment. Joe Biden is not providing that. Kamala Harris is incapable of providing that. And we need to get November 5 here as quickly as possible. I would say this, and I've hastened to remind our enemies around the world, our adversaries around the world, that regardless of the chaos surrounding this White House, I want our adversaries to be reminded that the United States Congress, the United States military, and the American people are fully prepared and committed to defend our interests both at home and abroad. And you should not mistake the drama surrounding Joe Biden as any sign of weakness or any moment of opportunity for you.
Well, that's one of the major concerns, right? And one of the consequences of lying to the American people just for years on end about the fitness of a guy who just, again, like, I don't know. We were saying he was unfit back in 2020. It seemed pretty obvious. That's because we saw the clips where he was, you know, half lucid or reasonably lucid, and the many clips where he clearly wasn't. How about this? There's a lot of stuff to come back. There's a ton of material. A ton of material against that they can use against Kamala Harris. Of course, like, you know, the people watching CNN and MSNBC, they're not going to see any of it. But now that there's X, it can be propagated to more people now. There's at least one that's not going to ban everybody for political reasons. Mosaic from Billboard Chris, mosaic of Kamala Harris, made out of the black men that she kept in prison beyond their sentences to use as free labor for the state of California. Yeah, there'll be ads about this. Ads about this. I mean, Trump is polling 21%, I think, right now, the black vote, which is very, very high for a Republican. So that's mainly black men as well. So there's some material right here. And she actually did do that and cackled about it. I mean, again, this is effective. Look, these are all people held beyond their sentences to use as free labor for the state of California under Kamala Harris. Each one of these pictures, little pictures here, is a human. So what's going on here? Judge Joe Brown was right about Vice President Kamala Harris. Well, what did he say?
Long before she met Doug Emhoff, she dated some prominent men, including in 2001, former talk show host Montel Williams. Back then, he was the famous one and had to introduce her to the paparazzi.
A corrupt witch. She's been corrupt her whole life, and she fucked her way to the top. They used to detail this witch in the LA Times with her sexual escapades. She fucked damn near everybody trying to get up. She used to be a frat hoe when she was at Howard. And she ain't black. You know, I gotta do this, Miss.
Long before she met Doug Emhoff.
Do you know what? It might be time. Jeez. It was probably time to cut off the YouTube stream right before that. Right before that. But since I missed it, we'll cut off the YouTube stream a little bit later. But again, there's lots of material against Kamala. Ton of material. CNN told us with a straight face that this was mostly peaceful, while Kamala Harris promoted a bail fund for their release. Yeah, we were told it was mostly peaceful, and Kamala promoted a bail fund to get him out of prison. There's a lot. There is a lot of Oppo stuff that's just right there for the taking that they can use. Your reminder that Kamala was in charge of the border over the past 3+ years. Over 8 million people entered our country illegally since then. Kamala is largely responsible for the border crisis. Here, March 24th, 2021, Biden taps VP Harris to lead response to border challenges. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, there have been about 10.1 million enforcement encounters nationwide since Biden took office in January 2021. Looking at just the southwest border, there have been about 8.2 million. That's just the ones they know of. Could be millions more. Millions more. Rumbum says, fiery but mostly peaceful. That's true. Hey, Xerxes, we got you in the chat. Good to see you. So this is another interesting one here. Back in 2012, mocking leftist dopes who say build schools, not jails. If this is the Kamala that runs, Republicans are in trouble. Really? I don't know. Is that going to go over well with Democrats?
Build more schools, less jails. Build more schools, less jails. And we walk around everywhere. Build more schools. We protest. Build more schools, less jails. Put money into education, not prisons. There's a fundamental problem with that approach, in my opinion. Build more schools, less jails. Build more.
Well, for one thing, no Republican is going to vote for Kamala Harris, obviously. But that is good. That will hurt her with her own base right there. They're not going to like that. That might as well be invading Poland to them. Very interesting. Another thing, I think fairly obvious drunkenness. Did I welcome JDL into the chat? If I forgot, welcome into the chat. Good to see you. So observers attribute Kamala Harris's erratic behavior to symptoms of alcoholism. Well, that's a little something that I know about, I can tell you. And it seems to be, like I've seen numerous clips where she just seems clearly drunk to me. Let's check out this one.
You know what also excites me? Among the many things, I'm excited about electric school buses. I love electric school buses. I just love them for so many reasons. Maybe because I went to school on a school bus. Hey, raise your hand if you went to school on a school bus, right? You know what also?
Too much afternoon Chardonnay, I would say, or vodka, quite possibly. Looks drunk to me. It's only going to get worse from Juanita Broderick. Let's see this. Inspiring thoughts from Kamala Harris.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time.
So the importance of community-based is they are, as they are called, they're in the community, led by members of the community. They are people who understand the capacity of the community, the needs of the community, the culture of the community.
Space is exciting. It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day.
Every day it is time for us to agree that there are things and tools that are available to us to slow this thing down. I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know?
I think at least it's admirable that she's clearly writing her own speeches, right? She's clearly, because nobody else would do this. Nobody else would write that for her. I think she's writing them herself, and that's why she keeps repeating like the unburdened thing over and over again. She wrote that herself. She's super proud of it. A gay actor named Michael Douglas is in the chat. Good to see you again. Let's see. Hello, Realm Dweller. Good to see you in the chat. Let's see. Michael Douglas says, yay, alcoholic. And she's the new Nancy Pelosi? Yeah. She's clearly hammered a lot. Rumbum says, the way she is slouched over and talks seems hammered to me as well. We've all seen drunk people before. Like, if you've ever seen a drunk person while you've been sober, that's what they look like. JJ Nevada, good to see you in the chat. You've missed about an hour. Anyway, let's continue. Of course, there's this one. Again, we're talking about, I don't know, maybe she's hammered all the time.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
I mean, she's obviously slurring her words, and the cackling and the body language, the body exaggerated body movements. She's drunk there. She's drunk. I don't know what she's drinking. Maybe it's vodka. Maybe it's white wine. Maybe it's red wine. Maybe it's tequila. Maybe she's doing tequila shots. I don't know. But that's not a sober person. That's a drunk person. That's a drunk person in front of cameras and a microphone sounding and acting drunk. Xerxes says she's a crazy communist. Thinks concepts, not facts. Always talking idealism. She's not African American. She's Jamaican and Indian. Well, that's all true. And I mean, is she a communist, or is she just using like the communist talking points? You know, the unburdened by what has been. That's exactly exactly what a communist would like to hear, because they want to just burn everything down and just start their utopia from scratch. G Flood, welcome in, sir. Good to see you. Quote, what can be unburdened by what has been, it's from the Communist Manifesto. I didn't know that. I'll have to look into that. It says it's in the intro. So we'll have to look into that. In fact, let's look into it right now. Let's see. What can be unburdened by what has been? Communist Manifesto. Let's confirm it. What's this? Rudy Giuliani bogusly suggests Kamala Harris may have a brain injury. No, she's just hammered all the time. Well, he's saying she might be stupid, brain injured, or a communist over her repeated use of the phrase, what can be unburdened by what has been. Well, here's James Lindsay. I've got a feeling he's going to say it's communist. Oh, here we go. Here's how Marx opens the Communist Manifesto. Through history of all hitherto existing society, what has been is the history of class struggles. That's precisely what he says a communist revolution would emancipate, unburden man from in the punchline, though. Let's see. He says, in other words, Marxism itself, in its own manifest declaration, identifies it as being able to move into what can be, unburdened by what has been. And socialist Marxist consciousness is a Gnostic awakening to see what can be, unburdened by what has been. Straight communism, he says. History of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles. Let's see. Freeman and slave, patrician and plebeian, lord and serf, guildmaster and journeyman, in a word, oppressor and oppressed, stood in constant opposition to one another, carried on in uninterrupted, now hidden, now open fight, a fight that each time ended either in a revolutionary reconstitution of society at large or in the common ruin of the contending classes. In the earlier epochs of history, we find almost everywhere a complicated arrangement of society into various orders, a manifold gradation of social rank. In ancient Rome, we have patricians, knights, plebeians, and slaves. In the Middle Ages, feudal lords, vassals, guildmasters, journeymen, apprentices, serfs, and almost all of these classes against subordinate gradations. The modern bourgeois society is sprouted from the ruins of feudal society, has not done away with class antagonisms. Okay, he's saying, here's how Marx opens the Communist Manifesto, though. The history of all hitherto existing society, what has been, is the history of class struggles. The history of all hitherto existing society. So what has been? Okay. Okay, so he continues. A few years earlier in his economic and philosophic manuscripts, Marx expresses the same idea, comparing crude communism to true transcendent communism. It's becoming unburdened by private property as human self-estrangement through positive transcendence. So becoming unburdened by, yeah, I mean, it all just sounds like commie gobbledygook. Oh, which one was I on there? I was on Kamala. Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll go pretty much. Let's see. G Flood says being hammered all the time is no excuse. It certainly isn't. You have to take responsibility for your actions, Kamala. Xerxes says, I don't remember that in the Communist Manifesto, but I was an outright communist in the 70s. Hate to say that. Yeah, I was a lefty, but I was never an outright communist. That's for sure. But it's sad to hear that. But it means that it's your redemption arc, Xerxes. So you should be proud of that. Let's see. JDL says, Radio B, do you have East Coast or Eastern time zone subscribers? I think I do. I don't know where everybody's from. That's the thing. You know, it's just like the internet and people just show up and hang out and have chats. But I'm sure I do. I think there's a lot of people Pacific time just because of the time this is on. JJ Nevada says, I'm not surprised that you are right, G Flood. All Democrats are commies. Well, they're all sympathetic to communist ideas, even if they don't realize that they're communists themselves, is the thing. Raider Streamer says, you need to get the clip of Norm Macdonald saying, this sounds like some commie gobbledygook. It's a good one. In fact, I should get the sound effect of that for the soundboard. I got to write that down. I haven't added any new sound effects to the board in a while. Norm gobbledygook. I got to remember to do that. I just haven't had time. You know, even, not that it takes that much time to do, but you've got to find the time to do it is the thing. Let's see. So we got Alaska in the chat. We got Vegas in the chat. We got Central Time Zone. We got North Carolina Eastern Time Zone, Pacific Time. Yeah, we got people from all over the place. All over the place. When I used to start later at like 11:30 on a Friday night, which was really late, but I wanted to a time. It's when I first started doing the live streams, and I wanted a time to just practice. I would get a lot of people from the UK in the chat. Tons of them. We got Tennessee. We got Central. Yeah, people from all over the place. Let's see. Do we have anything else that we want from? Yeah, we've seen one thing. The Obamas do not endorse Kamala Harris. I haven't seen anything else about that. I haven't heard anything yet. If you guys have heard anything of them actually endorsing her yet, let me know. I don't see that why they wouldn't. You know, I mean, surely they're not holding out for Hillary, are they? They can't be. JJ Nevada says, where is the show from? It's from the Great White North. It's about a mile of ice in a bunker. Safe, undisclosed location. You guys don't have to worry about me. I'm good. The show will continue. So Kamala Harris as the Democratic presidential candidate would be a huge win for Trump Vance because she's even more mentally limited than Joe. Well, we should look into this. Again, we're looking at stuff that's going to be used against Kamala Harris. It's going to be used in oppo material, in ads.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know? What can be?
No, I don't know, but continue.
Unburdened by what has been? What can be? Unburdened by what has been. What can be? Unburdened by what has been. What can be?
I think we checked this out on, what was it, Sunday night? It just goes on like that. Like the whole thing. Like the whole 3 minutes, 30 seconds.
What has been. There are those who are unable to see what can be. But there are many more who are able to see what can be unburdened by what has been.
I feel that she's so proud of that, she must have written it herself. Did she get it from the Communist Manifesto? I don't know. Maybe she's just something she heard and decided to take it for her own. But she's very proud of it. Very proud of it indeed. Let's see. Dramus Eves says, welcome to the chat. Dramus Eves is saying near Trugina, Ottawa. Near Trugina, Ottawa. More of the Trugina. Oh, you just didn't jump in. You didn't just jump in. I think you've been here since the start, haven't you? But I'm liking that you're throwing in the chat because I want the Truginas in the chat. All the Truginas in the chat. I really want to make that the thing. I want that to make the new nickname for Trudeau. Because we've done, Justin Castro, and there's the turd and all. I want Trugina. I want to make it a thing. Let's see. What else we got here? All right. So that's a bunch of stuff we've already seen. Now, what's in here? Okay, we've seen all of that. Now, this is interesting. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries endorsed Kamala Harris, say she has earned the nomination. This is hard to believe. From the grassroots up and not the top down. The grassroots up and not the top down. Really? Really? I mean, first off, everything she's ever been elected to is in California, where just anybody can get elected. If you're the preferred candidate, if you're the official, the preferred establishment candidate, you're getting elected in California. You just start. They're going to find an office for you somewhere in California. But look, in the 2020 primaries, she got 3% support and no delegates. She was made vice president. Nobody's voted for her to be the nominee. It's just a delegate thing. This is all just internal Democrat machine, elite machine politics. I mean, it is by definition top down. Nobody voted for her to be the nominee. Nobody voted for her to be president when she becomes president, which I think is extremely likely before Biden's term runs out, because again, I think he's going downhill fast. I think they told Biden, they said, drop out of the race, but you can finish out your term, knowing that he's not going to finish out his term. Rumbum says, remember that if women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. I think being handy is 80% of the battle, as well as being handsy. But here we go. Earned the nomination from the grassroots up and not the top down. Do they think everybody is an idiot? They must. Schumer cited Harris's tremendous record, though he did not give any specifics. I don't know. Is being wasted at press conferences a tremendous record? I guess a tremendous record of being wasted at press conferences, I guess. Let's see. Jeffries also made the claim that Vice President Harris, this is Hakeem Jeffries, also made the claim that Vice President Harris has earned the nomination from the grassroots up and not top down. Now, the post-millennial here points out that Harris did not run for the presidency during the election season. When she did run in 2020, she earned some 3% of the vote in polling. Also, no delegates. When Biden chose her for his running mate, it was after he promised to bring a black woman onto the ticket. Biden said that elites were trying to force him off the ticket. So Biden said outright that it was going to be a DEI position. He said it was going to be a black woman. So 2 identity traits there. I mean, it is by definition top down. Everything about her is top down. That's it. I mean, it's weird how they just, I guess I was saying earlier, my dad was playing golf with a guy yesterday, like a wealthy guy too, who just had immediately swallowed like the Pavlovian response. They said on CNN or MSNBC or wherever, they said, oh, she's brilliant. She's a brilliant mind. She's incredibly smart. And boom, ring the bell, they drool. And I guess that's what they're counting on. They can just say, in the face of all obvious, in the face of sanity. Oh, sorry, guys, I had to cough for a second. In the face of sanity, they can just say anything. They can say that it's a grassroots movement for her, not a bunch of elitists doing exactly what's happening. Not the elite of the party just deciding literally from the top down. I mean, it's just so obvious. Again, I guess they have so much faith in in people having their supporters having this Pavlovian response to the media, that they've just been conditioned to just believe anything they say. As long as it's against the orange man, the evil orange man. All right. So I think at this point, we're going to shut down the YouTube part of this. And I have to do that because YouTube has already started to censor me. It took down one of my videos, the video the day after the Trump assassination attempt. They just took it down. No reason. Didn't make any sense. I wasn't saying anything that anybody else wasn't saying. I didn't even show the close-up photo of the shooter on the roof with the blood. I just showed the distance footage of it, where you couldn't see it. We couldn't really see that much. But it's pretty clear that it's dangerous. And on the live stream that I did on Saturday, the emergency live stream I did, they immediately demonetized it and then age restricted it. So, I got to hedge my bets here. So, anybody who's watching on YouTube right now, we're going to continue on Rumble. So, I'm just going to be shutting down the YouTube part of that. But come and join us on Rumble. The water is great. The chat's awesome. We got an awesome community here, because Rumble doesn't hide my thumbnails so that my subscribers and anybody else can actually see that I'm live, which does not appear to be happening on YouTube. I typically get at least 10 times more viewers on Rumble, probably more like 20 times. And I don't get censored and I don't get demonetized and they don't take my videos down for saying normal things. So come on over to Rumble, subscribe to Radio Baloney, and it's a lot of fun. Again, the water's great over here. Here we go. Goodbye, YouTube. This is all your fault, by the way, YouTube. This is your fault for censoring me. 3, 2, 1.